Hey, I'm Steve, also known as TerraMantis, and in this video we're going to take a look at 10 things that you may or may not know about Overwatch. We'll cover topics that are based in lore, game mechanics, and things that are just simply fun to know. But all these Overwatch topics are either obscure or widely unknown, and the topics will get more difficult as we go, so remember to play the game where if you learn something new, you hit the like button. But if you already knew everything, don't feel bad for 1 second to also hit the like button. Alright, let's get started. Now, for the first one, we're going to go over something that's extremely simple, but it's a mechanic that's never outright explained, and everyone should know about it. So one thing that you may not know is when you're attacking during a mission with an Escort, when you're in close proximity to the Escort, it will heal you. The heal is nothing crazy, but it's roughly about as powerful as Lucio's passive area of effect heal, so it's definitely better than nothing. Now, speaking of Lucio, something I'm sure you already know is that when Lucio is using either a speed boost or healing aura, a specific song is playing for each. Now, what you may not know is that if you go to Blizzard's SoundCloud page for Overwatch, you can actually find 2 full-length songs for each of Lucio's abilities. Now, speaking of abilities, let's take a quick look at Zarya and her ability to lift a ton of weight. As you may know, that particle cannon she wields weighs a lot. As a matter of fact, one of her victory poses shows her deadlift the cannon. Well, what you may not know is that mixed in with that tribal tattoo on Zarya's shoulder is the number 512. This is Zarya's weightlifting record of 512 kilograms, or 1,128 pounds. Now the next one is short and sweet. There's obviously a lot of various nods to pop culture throughout the voice lines of different heroes in Overwatch. For example, you have Zarya's nod to Drago from the Rocky movie.
I will break you.
Or McCree's nod to Woody from Toy Story.
Reach for the sky.
But one of the lesser known phrases is one of Hanzo's lines. When he says, "From one thing, know 10,000 things."
From one thing, know 10,000 things.
This is a direct quote from the famous martial arts tech Go-Rin no Sho, A Book of Five Rings by Miyamoto Musashi. Now moving on to the next one, as you may or may not know, during the Numbani mission, the payload you're escorting is a powerful weapon of a retired Overwatch agent, the Gauntlet of Doomfist. After the agency Talon attempted to steal the glove from the Overwatch Museum as depicted in the original Overwatch CGI trailer, the fist is then transported to Numbani for safekeeping. Well, what you may not know is that there's actually an active Doomfist still out there, one by many to be considered an evil Doomfist. From the posters advertising the Doomfist exhibit coming to Numbani, we can see that at some point there's been 2 different heroes who have bore the name Doomfist. Abhabu Nugami, the Savior, and Akinje Adaimi, the Scourge. And next to these 2, there's a blacked out portrait intended to represent someone yet to pick up the mantle of Doomfist with the successor. And from these posters, we can clearly see the Savior is right-handed, while the Scourge is left-handed. Meaning the Scourge and his Doomfist gauntlet are unaccounted for, because during the Overwatch CGI trailer and the Numbani Escort mission, the gauntlet is right-handed. Now for the next one, if you've been to Lijiang Tower since the release of competitive matches, then you may have noticed that it's changed some. Well, what you may not know is that this change is dedicated to an Overwatch fan who died the day before the game's release. The 20-year-old Hongyu Wu heroically pursued a thief who stole a motorcycle, and in the process they both collided with one another. The thief was captured as a result, but Hongyu's injuries were fatal. Some of Hongyu's last messages to his friends were of how excited he was for the upcoming release of Overwatch. And now, as a tribute, at the control center of the Lijiang map, the characters here on the chest of the Taikanaut suit translate to Hongyu, and the script on the wall says Immortal Hero, or Heroes Never Die. For the next one, as you may know, Omnics had quite a struggle for ethical and social rights at King's Row. There are signs all over discriminating Omnics, and in one cinematic video an Omnic leader was assassinated here. And now a statue stands in the middle of town as a memorial of the leader and his pursuit to unite Omnic and mankind alike. Well, what you may not know is that in the Farah comic, it speaks about an Anubis AI, which is one of the so-called God programs with the capability to control other operating systems, aka other Omnics. Now, during the King's Row mission, what you may also not know is that the payload is actually an EMP. Also, it's stated that the Omnics here of England in the King's Row area live underground. And lastly, when you deliver the EMP payload to its final destination, it detonates that EMP. This is made even more interesting when you look beneath the final destination. Here you'll find what appears to be some type of steampunk supercomputer. So whether this EMP is to stop one of the so-called God program AIs below the streets of King's Row, or to attack and kill Omnics is unclear, but either way, it's interesting nonetheless. Alright, the next one is actually just a pretty cool mod for Street Fighter V. The 3D artist and modder TheJamk has actually taken various Street Fighter characters and replaced them with skins of Overwatch characters. There's Birdie as Roadhog, Cammy as Tracer, Reinhardt as Zangief, and a few others. So, you know, if you ever wanted to just body slam May or punch Tracer in the face, which I know we all have wanted to do, then these might be the character mods for you. Now, when observing Route 66, it's clearly obvious that there's a military train wreck at the start by the diner, and as a matter of fact, the payload seems to be some type of military weapon. Well, what you may not know is that McCree caused this train wreck. Jesse will even comment on how it doesn't feel right coming back here when you choose him for this stage.
Doesn't feel right coming back here.
This is also why McCree is a wanted man, an outlaw. Well, at least that's what the authorities believe. If you read the Overwatch comic titled Train Hopper, which is a focus on McCree, the pages reveal an event of hijackers commandeering a train to steal the cargo. In the pages, McCree makes mention of the fact that he's worried that if he shows his face to stop the bad guys, that he'll be blamed for what's happening, again, alluding to the fact that something like this has happened before. But regardless, McCree stops the hijackers anyway, and is still blamed for the incident. So it would seem with the events of both the comic train heist and the train crash at Route 66, that McCree is destined to be wrongfully accused for crashing trains. The last topic is less of something that I don't think people will know, and really just something that I want to talk about. So what you may not know is that Overwatch is essentially the remainder of Blizzard's MMO that was scrapped, which was originally codenamed Titan. And there's a pretty blatant bootleg out there of Overwatch called Legend of Titan. This game is made by the Chinese developer 265G, and it features all of your favorite characters such as Totally Not Tracer, Male Farah, Reaper with a tie, Jukebox in the middle of the street, and Widowmaker, because they're not even trying anymore. Seriously, right down to the ultras and abilities, Legend of Titan is liberally drawing inspiration from Overwatch, basically to copyright infringement levels. Now that being said, the developer 265G did make a statement that this demonstration of Legend of Titan was basically just a proof of concept that such games could run and exist on mobile devices. Supposedly, the final game will look very different. Honestly though, if a clone game came out for mobile devices that ran even half as competent as Overwatch, I'd probably try it out. Alright guys, now before you go I want to tell you about this website called Opinion Outpost. Opinion Outpost is a site where you can go to complete surveys, and in return for your time and information you earn points and work towards various rewards, like PayPal Cash, Amazon and iTunes gift cards, and so on. You could even use it as a way to make some extra cash towards loot boxes in Overwatch. Now, I have tried Opinion Outpost myself, and you're not going to make a living off the site or something like that. Opinion Outpost is more of a means to fill your free time when you're stuck in a car, or on a plane, or something like that. So if you have some free time, I suggest checking the site out. And there's a link in the description box below that will take you right to Opinion Outpost. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.